Okay, let's move to the another topic that is vSphere high availability. So in high availability, we do have a different options how in an event what should be done. So let's go to the wizard and see what are the different option, and in that different option what are actions we will be selecting. But there is nothing much into doing in this one. We just need to enable it, and remaining everything will be looked after by the cluster itself. All right, so let's go to the cluster. I will right click on that one and I will go to the settings. And in the settings, I should have vSphere availability option. So currently that is being turned off. So I will click on edit and I will turn it on. So once you turn it on, you have different options here. So it's asking you when the host failure response. So if the host, the ESXi client failed to respond, what do you want me to do? You want me to try to restart the VMs? You want me to do it, disable it, or so we by default it is selected to restart the VM, so we don't change that one. Now default VM restart policy it's medium, so I'm not sure what is low, high, and medium. So just leave it as a default. Now VM dependency restart condition. After the condition has been met, vSphere high availability will be processed with the next VM restart priority. So it will allocate the resources, it will get the details, and it will make sure that it will run that virtual machine. So if I see that you have do have a different options. So the dependency is that the whatever the resources is been allocated to the host and the particular VM is running on the host, then it's a problem because once the host is down, that means we completely lose about that one. If it is in a shared one, so DSR will look after that one. And in the high availability, it will check that okay, in out of three ESXi host, one has gone down. That means the virtual machine is located on the what do we say, shared storage, then automatically DRS will kick in, dynamic resource allocation will kick in, and it will allocate it to the different host that is on the ESXi 2 or 3. So don't change anything. Response time, it's been disabled, so allows you to configure the cluster to respond to the host network isolation failure. So it's related to the host network one, so just disable it. If you power off the VM so and restart the VM, that will affect the connectivity of the VM, so don't do anything. Data store with DPDL, so that means permanent data store loss. In case of that, in that scenario, what we want me to do, so he's asking, so we by default it is selected that power of the VMs and power on the VM. So that means if it is in a shared one, then only it will happen. If it is in a particular host, then we have already lost completely for that one, so we cannot recover until it comes back online. And data store with APD, that is the all paths down. What in a scenario where all the hosts are down, or maybe the networking storage paths are down. In that scenario also we are just powering off and trying to power off and power on the VMs. That's it. Response recovery is been disabled, so we don't want to recover that one, so we did not set up any recovery for now. So VM monitoring is being disabled for now, so you feel like you can go ahead and enable the VM monitoring. Only turns on the VMware tools heartbeat. When heartbeats are not received within a set of time, the VM is reset. So that will trigger a reset of the VM. So VM and application monitor turns on the application heartbeats. When heartbeats are not received within a set time, VM is reset. So now this one is a little bit riskier because if it's for some reason the heartbeat is been not responded by the VM, then it will reset that virtual machine, and we don't want that one. So just keep it disabled for now. Again, VM monitoring sensitivity, so we don't want to go with the sensitivity, so because we are not even enabling that one. Next, admission control. So is a policy used by the vSphere high availability to ensure failover capacity within a cluster. So it will check for the uh, capacity of the cluster. So EXI 1, 2, and 3, it will check the capacity. Now, host failure tolerance, that means if one host is down, that is the maximum it will tolerate, and it will make sure it will try its best to give you the alerts and everything that one host is down and it is within the tolerate limit for now. So in a cluster, if one goes down, you will get a notification that one is down. Now define host failover capacity. So you can go with the different options over here. You can disable it or you can slot policy power on the VMs. Just going with a policy where you just say that power on the VMs. If not, you go with the cluster resource percentage. That means you want the high availability to analyze it, and according to that one, according to the available resources, you want them to take action. Or dedicated failover host, if you want to dedicate that one, select that one. So we don't have anything right now, and we don't want to dedicate that one. So I will just select the resource one. Override calculate. So I don't want to do that one override calculate because it will overclock the CPUs, which will again degrade the virtual machines performance. I don't even want to reserve the memory failover capacity. That means it will automatically reserve some capacity for this particular uh, scenario. Now let's next one is the heartbeat data store. By default, use data store from a specific list and complement automatically if needed. So vSphere high availability uses data store to monitor host and virtual machine. Since this is the shared one which I have, that is, it makes sense to monitor that one. If it goes down, then it will look for the alternate path, maybe a different, it will take an action on that one. So I will select that one, use the data store. Uh, from the specified list and complement automatically if needed. So that means it's already checking for the automatically checking which is available or not. If not, you can select the first option, that is automatically select data store accessible from the host. So currently I want to define because I want to look for the shared database, then I want to look for the other ones. So next click on the advanced option. Not sure what exactly we have to put in here, but we don't worry about that one. So click on OK. Now that is being done, so that my high availability should be turned on. Why it did not turn on? Okay, it's been queued now. It is been turned on now. So let it turn on. So host failure, it is restarting the VMs. Proactive high availability, it is not been turned on yet. So we'll look into that one too. Host isolation is been disabled. We don't want to isolate any host for now. And data store with permanent device loss, power on, and restart the VM. Same with the all paths down. And the heartbeat is we have been disabled that down too. So now my high availability is turning on. So it was taking time. So let it. You see at the bottom the all the tasks are running now. Okay, so let it finish that one. So once that is been finished, then we will go ahead and activate the high availability proactive one. Otherwise, let me see if I'm able to enable that one. Yep. Enable the proactive high availability. You can configure how proactive high availability respond when a provider has notified its health degradation to vCenter. So that means if the service or the health is degrading for a particular ESXi host, so proactive high availability will kick in and it will check for that one. Now, automation level, the dynamic resource allocation will suggest recommendation for the VM. So I will say automated one. So virtual machines will be migrated to healthy host, or you want manual one, so automatically the dynamic resource will take care of that one. So currently by default, it's better to leave it with the dynamic resource allocation task. it will do it for that. So remediation will be that balances performance and availability by avoiding the usage of partially degrading host. So it will go into the quarantine mode or mixed mode if you like, or if you want to go with the maintenance mode, that means it will totally connect the host, which I don't want. So I will go with the quarantine mode, which is a default one. So VM performance is unaffected. That is what we are interested in mostly. Providers, there are no providers for now. We don't worry about it. So let's go and click on OK. And that should also turn on the proactive high availability now. So now with this one, so my cluster is being ready for the high availability. In case of any of the host goes down, the virtual machines will be moved to the other one until and unless they are hosted on the shared one. Okay, until unless they are hosted on the shared one. So let me go ahead and deploy a OVF template. Select the file, select this one, click on next, and I will say that this one mktdrs. I will go with the data center one, click on next, and I will select the clustering. It will automatically decide where to do that one. Click on next, and I will deploy it on the shared storage one. So now the DRS is calculating where to deploy it. That's fine. So I will select the shared storage one, select the thin provisioning, click on next, and the VM network, that's all fine, and click on finish. So now the virtual machine is being deployed. So let me see where it is deploying. It is deploying again onto the ESXi2 host now. So let it deploy, and after that I will run that up virtual machine, and I will go and manually shut down the ESXi2 to see what will be the action or reaction. So click on this one, turn on the machine, click on this one. So it's been starting. So let it start. Okay, it is loading. Action, it's asking to install the VMware tools. We don't worry about that one. Let me see if that is being started. Yep, it's asking me for the new password. That's fantastic. And now that is being stored in the shared data store now. So my virtual machine is up and running. So let me go to the E6i2 in this one, and I will go and power off. And see what will be the behavior of that high availability and the DRS together. Okay, so if I do a refresh, I should see the C is offline. If I click on that one, still trying to access. So it was on the, you see that it is now disconnected. Okay, so it is still loading, and I think DRS will be kicked in, and after that it should deploy it on the other one. But again, this is all, this is a lab, and you see that my virtual machine is running now. It is now restarting that machine, and it still shows that the host is 202, which is down, but my virtual machine is being started somewhere. The only thing is that the host is been not updated yet. So it's taking time, but again you see that the virtual machine is now coming up, it's loading now, and my virtual machine is now up. So my virtual machine is running perfectly fine, but the only thing is that the DRS has kicked in and it is now hosting the server, what do we say, the virtual machine on a different host. Now, what can do is that I can check on which one because it did not update over here and it is still loading. I can try to log in into the 201 and see if it has deployed the VM inside this one or not. Yep, it you see that it has deployed the VM into the ESXi1 host. Right, so that's what the high availability rules and everything says that one. So let me see start off the virtual machine now again. Right, so let me see after starting the virtual machine still it will move to the 202 or not, because it still says that 202. If I do a refresh and still says that it is 202 but it is running on the ESXi host 1. And the good thing is that it is also showing what IP address it has got here. Okay, ESXi2 almost done. Okay. All right, so now it is up and running. So I should see that it is now connected. So just give it a time, or I can right click and say connection connect. So I can go with both the ways. That should be fine. But I will just wait for 2 minutes. It should automatically detect that it is has come online now. Host connection and power state issue. It says that I will acknowledge that one or reset to green, and I will click on suppress warning. Now again it is giving me this host currently has no management network redundancy. We don't worry about it since we know that it is a lab and it doesn't make any sense. So click on yes, suppress that one. And the number of vSphere, the current host has no management redundancy. Again, I will suppress that one. Click on yes. The number of vSphere, high availability. Okay, the where is that one? Looks like the error has gone. No. All right, so vSphere high availability operation is in progress in cluster 1 in data center 1. 0 VMs being restarted. 1 VM is waiting for a retrieve. So that should be this one. That's fine. But again, if I come back here, it says that now it has updated to the what do we say, the new virtual machine which we deployed. It says it is now updated that it is now being hosted on the 201 host. Alright, so that's all for the high availability. I hope this was informative for you and thank you.